What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Next Gen 720, and I am back with another video. Say yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. I have so much planned for you guys, in store for you guys. Those that rock out me with the platform. Like I said, I know not to keep repeating myself, or I'm starting to turn into Dr. Dre, with the Detox album. And it's work. I mean, but I don't mind. You guys support me and give me a platform to be able to do what I do, or pay different personalities for coming on the show. And again, that's why every month I send away 6 to 10 T-shirts, and I buy those shirts for about $24 a piece, for you guys. A way again for me saying thank you for supporting me. Like I said, for as little as $2, you guys can sign up for the Patreon or join the channel. I think it's like $3 to join the channel. But anyway, where you get access or have access to a lot of the things that goes on behind the scenes. Come on some of the shows, rock out. What is not saying I'm charging, but rock out with us. Like I said, really like behind the scenes, and it's crazy. Shout out to Street Jesus and my man Trey, who just joined. You know what I mean? But that's neither here. And also shout out to my man, the Chosen One, who sent me, him and my man Oscar sent me my first donation via Cash App. I'm old school. I'm a PayPal guy. I didn't know what the hell Cash App was. But anyway, like I said, if you want to support me, the Patreon, the people, all that stuff will be pinned down below in the first comment below. Now, getting into today's video. Hold on, where the hell is my towel? Sweaty. You see this? Look at this. Look, I'm sweating, right? It's crazy. It's hot, right? Because I don't have the air because it's loud while I record this video, right? But anyway, get into today's video. I want to give a huge shout out to my man Daniel, who sent me an article, and my man Daniel Jack, I believe this is Vidal, sent me an article about, they're already starting to take pre-orders for the PlayStation 5. Before, now Sony has come out, of course, and announced that they're working on the PlayStation 5. We've seen some tech. Not seen, but they talked about some tech. Well, we did see the load up screen, or the boot up screen, from this new SSD technology they're using. That's going to be exclusive to them. But they have yet to come out and announce a price, right? But what's interesting, that right now the brand of Sony and the momentum, check this out, that they have leading into next generation, that people are already lining up in droves to go out and pre-order this thing. Now, the asking price right now to pre-order this, the PlayStation 5, is $1,000. Actually, you know what? Was $1,000 US. Let me share my screen with you. We're going to talk about this and talk about some of the comments, right? Hold on. This is the reason why I'm really doing this video. Hold on. There we go. Where are you? Here we go. It says here, check it out. Pre-order the PlayStation 5 in Swedish media market for approximately, I don't know what this PLN stand for, but PLN for 1,000. Shout out to some of you guys that rock out with me from overseas in Europe. I get the sex sometimes. Sometimes I even get euros. I don't know what the hell a PLN for 1,000 is. But anyway, it says quite unexpectedly in the Swedish branch of the media market. But they said when ASAP Rocky's locked up over there in Sweden, free him. I'm quite sure he know what the 4,000 PNL, PLN 4,000 stands for. Shout out to him, right? I believe he is locked up. Is it in Sweden? But if I'm not, I stand corrected. If I'm wrong, I stand corrected. Anyway, so quite unexpectedly in the Swedish branch of the media market network, there was some possibility of a pre-premiere order, I guess pre-order, of the PlayStation 5, even before the announcement of the Sony equipment was valued at $999.99, since 1,000 Swedish crowns, or about 4,050 PLN. I don't know what the hell that means. The sum mentioned is probably the so-called placeholder, i.e., the temporary value that they will change. That will change. I'm sorry, when the console is reviewed. The more so, because the main architecture of the PlayStation 5 is mentioned, the price will be attractive. It goes to talk about some of the specs, about the rise, and just that and the other. But let's get down to the nitty gritty of this, right? why some chains or some stores are taking uh, the initiative, no pun intended, to start pre-orders now, and people are lining up because the brand is so strong right now. Let me tell you something, right? I think at the height of popularity, Sony with the PlayStation 2 is probably was more popular than they have ever been. I'm a little older than you guys, but we're gonna hop in this hot tub time machine, right? I've been telling you guys time and time before that the Sony at those time in the 2000, early 2000, late 90s. I'm sorry, they were what Apple is today, right? They were, and of course the PlayStation 2 was the cheapest DVD player that you can buy on the market. Me myself, the PlayStation 2 was the first DVD player that I ever owned. So old school. We get the VCR tape, so that was my first DVD player. And one of the first movies that I bought on DVD, believe it or not, one of my favorite movies is the movie Seven. Love that movie, Seven, and I had Friday, but that's neither here. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, right? But anyway, the brand was so strong. But to me, in my honest opinion, what they done this generation with the PlayStation 4 totally eclipsed anything that Sony has done prior or before then. Hear me out. In terms of quality first party content. What made the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 so dominant back then were their second and third party deals. Games like Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto 3 especially, and then Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or Vice. Those games were exclusive to the PlayStation 2, and when they did come to a rival platform, it was a year and a half later. I remember when the Xbox was just getting Grand Theft Auto 3 came in a bundle, a box set. I may still have it around here somewhere, right? Or at my grandmother's. It came in a box set. You got Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, but Sony was already getting, the PlayStation was already getting San Andreas. You know what I mean? So it was, not generation, but it was a few years behind. But again, what made the platform so great is that again, a lot of the multi-plats we have today, the Devil May Cry's, a few Metal Gear, were exclusive. And now they're multi-plats today, but they were exclusive back then. But what Sony did this generation was totally, transferred the genre of God of War. What's really, like it says, the epitome of what you call of hack and slash and combos and putting stuff together. God of War 3. Let me put this in hindsight 20, and I keep going back this way. Let me close this menu out right here, right? God of War 3 was, believe it or not, the first God of War that I played. Then I went back and beat 1, 2, right? And Chains of Olympus, right? And you beat all the gods, and Kratos have always had this quote-unquote chip on his shoulder, right? And you walking around with the ashes of his wife on his body. His skin was gray. Always been mean. Always about Kratos. Kratos was very self-centered, very, very selfish. And when the game first started off, when you God of War 3, you're climbing up the back of this other giant. She's trying to get the Mount Olympus with you, and what Kratos do at the end, when we got to the top, cut her off, make her fall. Like, Shirley put the jigs on her. Like, so Kratos have always been a very selfish character. And to see him in the new God of War, where he's caring about his son, and it's not all about him, boy, and he just lost the boy's mother. You really got to see the softer side of Kratos, and he's not really that bad, more or less. He's just misunderstood. He's not as toxic, right? And what they did with that, and then, Spider-Mans and Horizon Zero Dawns and Uncharted, they really were firing on all cylinders. So, reading some of these comments, right? Go here. I got jokers saying, I want to hear, what do you say here? Let me just go, man. He says here, if Bloodborne 2 comes out with the PS5 day one, I would gladly buy it for 2,000 euros. You got people actually defending, and it should be $1,000 because all that's Sony. This is crazy, right? But now, listen, it's not going to be $1,000, but some people in here seem to, it should be $400. It's going to be $400. If Sony gave you a PlayStation 4 Pro in 2016 for $400, right? You're not going to get an 8 or 9 T-flop console for under $500. It's not going to happen. Like, forget about it, right? It's not going to be $600, but it's going to be $500. That's my prediction. It's going to be $500, right? But the brand, again, is so strong. We're talking about a year out. People are lining up in droves. And a lot of people, say, quote unquote, don't have, the average Joe don't have disposable income to go in and just drop $200 and you hold that for me for a year. You know what I mean? A year, so a year and a half from now. The Sony finally come out and announce the pricing or taking pre-orders most likely next year around E3, right? That's when you know your brand is strong. I guarantee you, because again, I'm not saying you won't have a few. It's always about the games. The reason, again, like Sony is firing on all cylinders leading into the next generation, where here's Microsoft is still tripping over their feet. Now, we're going to do a show later on where we're going to highlight the interview that Phil Spencer had, right? Because, again, it's crazy, right? I always, like I said, I'm going to call a spade, right? A ball, a strike. I remember sitting back and making fun of the Sony guys when Andrew House came out and said that, hey, our first-party content lineup is sparse. And then Sony guys out there, what he means is, and you Xbox guys are the same way now, right? It's like, no, this is what Phil means. This is what he says. You know, our shit has been lackluster. I'm sorry, compared to the competition. Shout out to my man Dillis, my man, right? Love him to death, right? But even the comment that he made on right after Microsoft's E3, Xbox E3, right? He said he's going to take his platform, right, and choose to focus on the positive. I don't see how any, gamer or Xbox guy, right? He said, with Dirt, shout out to Dirt Diggery. I'm an Xbox guy. Are you an Xbox guy? Can look at that and say, anything positive. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's always about the game and them leaving on such a low note. No one's talking about pre-ordering them. I'm not saying that the Scarlet may not sell. People are not going to pre-order because I'm going to get one myself, right? I like new tech. I like new technology, right? And to be fair, I've told you guys over and over again, the Xbox X, One X, the console technology is the best console that I've ever owned. Dolby Atmos for Dolby Atmos, the audio, just the things to do that it does that the competition doesn't do, and how Microsoft again has done a horrible job at letting the average John PQ know. You know what I mean? Depending on sites like HDR Medium Forums or Digital Foundry to explain the benefits on why the average consumer should buy the X over the Pro. Like Microsoft did a horrible job at that, right? And again, nothing's going to change. I just want to say I have no confidence in this regime or them. When you got Phil Spencer come out and say, you know what, they're more excited about the things that they didn't show. This is what I'm talking about as far as the disconnect. I'm going to come back to the $1,000 price tag for the PlayStation 5 on why they're able to, or people don't have a problem putting it down, right? Because they do have the consumer confidence, right? And Microsoft no longer, or they refuse to, to recognize their core and give us what we want. When you sit there and say that you chose to show a BAMI simulator or a flight simulator, some PC stuff, then Fable 4, more or less, and I'm paraphrasing here, there's a problem in the disconnect, like they don't speak, they don't exude confidence. For us to be successful, we don't have to, tear down Sony. It ain't about that. I've always told you guys in this channel the difference between Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Both Sony and Nintendo wanted to go out there and render their competition unconscious, right? Render them unconscious, right? Where here's Microsoft, there's enough money out for everybody, and it doesn't come over well. So forget the console where it just doesn't. But going back to what I'm saying, when you have people out there saying, hey, if it comes out with Bloodborne 2 day one, here, take my 2,000 euros. Like, this is what they're saying. And again, from the experiences that Sony was able to deliver this generation. Now, all can change next generation. Sony can go out there and get cocky. I hope not. And totally blow it, right? Shit happens, But there is no competition, right? And there is no really hype when it comes to Microsoft's next generation platform. You don't hear about any stores opening up taking pre-orders for the next generation or Xbox Scarlet. You know why? Because there's no hype for the product. I'll put it to the equivalent of the new Atari that's coming out. Who the hell is talking about that? Why aren't the outside of the few diehard guys I've seen, K Maker, God bless his soul, talking about Microsoft got 90% of the market. He went to adding home fax machines and PCs. Like, this shit is crazy, right? While there is no hype about the product, right, outside of the zealots, right? Because it's the games. When you have the boss, the head, Phil Spencer himself, and saying our exclusives are not good. They're not up to the level of our competition. But then you're going to have these same guys come back show after show, week after week, again talking about Sea of Thieves, this game was in the generation. That's when I say heavy's the head that wears the crown. That's when so you have to take a step back and at least be honest. But getting back to the $1,000 price tag, and not saying no way that Sony's going to charge $1,000. This is just a placeholder. Why again people are excited. It's about the future. Looking at The Last of Us 2, what they showed on screen. You know what I mean? You had people thinking that, hey, there's no way in hell that's running on the PlayStation 4 Pro. That got to be a PS5 dev kit. If these games look that good on the Pro, there's no telling. How you say, sky's the limit. Oh, you can have what you want of what the games are going to look like on the PlayStation 5. And I must say this, and before I get the hell out of it, I'm going to get you guys' opinion. What Sony did this generation with the PlayStation 4, to me, was their greatest triumph, or their best generation, I mean. Because, again, with all the money problems and them losing their chief financial officer, I forgot the guy's name, a guy from France, who was, he was the chief, financial officer, he was the CFO. He took about $2 billion with him, and still delivers so much exclusive wise and great games. Whether you like these games or not, you can be subjective. Like I said, Horizon Zero Dawn, totally new franchise. The Ghost of Tsushima, totally new franchise. And you're going to argue, I know Spider-Man is a slippery slope, but the Spider-Man, Last of Us 2. But again, even them reinventing, like I said, God of War, and now he has this protagonist, the son, who just has his own issues, little basket case. I can kill anybody I want. How do you know there's repercussions for killing a god? How do you know? Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. They did an amazing job, man. So that's why, again, people don't mind, or some people don't mind. I'm not going out there and dropping $200 in advance. I'm not going to do it. And again, I ain't paying $1,000 for no console. And it's not going to be $1,000. It's going to be $500. But, just reading some of these comments, I can see why people will do it or willing to do it, because it's about the game and why there's no hype, again, for the Scarlet outside of the quote-unquote the zealots. I haven't seen one article when people talking about, hey, we're taking pre-orders already for the next generation of Xbox. Like, shit, like people, again, that just got their X, they feel like, again, they've been gypped on that. Like, you know what I mean? We ain't got one game exclusive to really take advantage of the Xbox One X hardware, man. But then again, that's another story for another day. But what I want to hear from you guys, I want to hear your comments down below. I'm in the chat. I'm going to be talking to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Shit is hot. I'm going to cut this fan on. Let me know what you think. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Again, subscribe to my Twitch. All that stuff is going to be down below. And like I said, I have so much stuff that I am working on. It's like I'm literally turning into Dr. Dre and the Detox album. But I really am. After each show, I'm gonna try to have what's called the after party, where I come over to Twitch. I need to, I say, quote unquote, stop goat mouth and take into business and try to partner in that channel and just grow my platform. And again, I gave a huge shout out to a lot of you guys on Twitter. You know what I mean? And that's why I take it, make it my business. Every month I spend about $200 on t-shirts, for you guys, of wearing me saying thank you. That's why I didn't get my PlayStation Plus or the Battlefield. I spent about $200 on t-shirts, ordering. And that's a way of me saying thank you. And it's not even for those that, again, rock out in the super chat. But it was so many of you guys that never left me $1. So again, shout out to Heath Stevens. He finally gave me 35 cents. But, sent him a shirt. And again, it's a way of me saying thank you. And for you guys giving me a voice. within this community on my platform. That shit means the world to me. Or the little donations, whether it's $2 to $5, I'm able to pay different personalities for coming on the show to quote unquote give you guys a show. You know what I mean? Like I said, sign up for the Patreon for Lewis $2. Join the channel on YouTube. You can join now. I think it's like $3 or $4 every month and have access to a lot of the behind the scenes. Come on to the private Discord. I'm always going live. Hop on live. Give your honest opinion. Also too, maybe once a month or maybe twice a month, I'm gonna do something with you guys. Some guys to support me. Bring you on the show. If you guys can voice your opinion, you know what I mean? It's just a small way of me again saying thank you to the Lionel Boltons, the Heath Stevens, the Chris, my brother AP the Shooter, Rafe the Emperor, so many of you guys. Ice Queen Gaming, that there, SS9 Vegeta. I know the Ruham. I know I'm forgetting a lot of people. Vector, Harry Helene. So many of you guys that rock out. Brian Ingram, Oscar Gonzalez, that rock out and support me. Bring you on the show if you would choose. Some of you guys may be a little shy, and just to speak your ways. D Web, D Web. You know what I mean? Again, I know I'm probably forgetting some of you. Ian O. I know I'm forgetting a lot of people. Titanfall Princess, Carlos Hernandez. But with me saying thank you. But this is your boy Nixon 720. I'm out of here. But again, this is consumer confidence. While these branches or these outlets are taking upon themselves to start pre-orders for this console placeholders, and people not having a problem with doing it. Mind Sony ain't came out and talked about one game for really next generation. You know what? That thing may not launch with Octodad 2, exclusive wise. And again, people are not caring. They have that much faith in Sony, and that says a lot. It says a lot. And Microsoft has way too much money to be the hobo of gaming. I'm just going to leave that right there. But this is your boy NextGen720. I'm out of here. Subscribe. Let me know what you think below. I'm out of here.